Where we left off was that when I started the program and we started moving, it just started growing a length, right? And that is because, and even if I was to eat it, right, I'm eating the apples and nothing's like happening right now. Okay, well, I'm actually pretty good at this now, right? So it's like nothing's happening. The reason is because we set our snake length to 5. So if we were to scroll down now I want you to remember this, okay? Snake length is 5. So as we scroll down and we come to this method, okay, we got the coordinates, we're pending it, great, we're pending all that, perfect. When it comes down to here, it says if the length of the list, now that list is going to have a ton of coordinates, right? But if it's greater than the length, which was 5, then continuously delete until you only have a length of 5. So by changing that length, right, we would have that. And again, I know if you've been following this straight through, then you're probably going to get tired of seeing this, but it was just to make sure you understand this, right? If I have a snake length of 10, okay, then as soon as I start, it should make a length of 10, which it does. Now this isn't exactly ideal because we want to only increase it when we eat something. So I'm going to make this a 1, and rather, okay, we need to go down to the main function, and we need to look to where there's that collision, because that collision is the same as eating an apple. So we're going to go down here to where it says if the snake eats an apple, we're going to draw the apple and we're going to increase the score. But what we're also going to do is we're going to increase the length of the snake. And how do we do that? Well, I can't just do snake length plus equals 1, right? That won't work. And let's just understand why. So if I do that, okay, because my variable was snake length, but if I do that and I try to eat something, there's the collision. Okay, so we know that at least that works. But then it says local variable snake length reference before assignment. The local variable means that this variable needs to be declared somewhere in this program around here. Okay, it's a reference before the assignment, so we never assigned this variable, even though we kind of know we did, right? And we're calling it, but we're calling a variable that doesn't exist. The issue is that here this snake length resides inside of this class, so we need to go down to where we created this the object here, which was player, and we'll use player dot and then any of the attributes or methods that we want. So then this will be player dot length, snake length. So if I go through this now, all right, so there it is, right? So now we're increasing our length. Hold on. Okay, there you go. Oh, my students are so much better than this. Like, if this was like a one-on-one, they would like own me. Man, I'm not good at this. Okay. Oh man. All right. Anyway, whatever. But you see that it's increasing. Just want to go back really quickly over here, and then I just want to just talk about this. This draw snake. I know in the last video I kind of like rushed it, and you're probably wondering like, what is all this stuff, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this, and I'm just gonna paste this into my screen. So what I'm gonna do is this. Make a new slide. All right. Let's talk about this piece right here. Okay, because it's great that it works, but like if you don't understand why it works, then you can never really use it again. Okay, so we have this for I and snake list. So let's make a snake list. Okay, I promise I'll make this quick. All right, let's say 100, 200, 110, 200. So we're just going across the x-axis. It's just easier. Okay, for me to like get this. All right, so now when it says for I, okay, the I is the one that we're going to iterate through each loop. Now remember, it's not iterating. It's I is not going to be this. Okay, it's going to be this this right here is considered to be the element that we appended. Okay, so we're going to iterate through each one. So for I and snake list, all the way up to the last element. Now this means that you start from the beginning, but you go all the way up until this is considered the negative first element, so the last element in the list. Okay, so we're going all the way up to that. Now this is because this is the current snake on the screen. Okay, or I guess you can say the head of the snake. I know my handwriting is not that great right now. Okay, so this is going to be the head of the snake. the one that you see or the one that you're controlling. So we want, and this right here would be the body. Okay. So pygame.drawThatRect, and this is what we use to draw a rectangle. To do that, you need to know where you're drawing it. Okay, the screen is what we create. That was the variable that we created at the beginning to draw and display the screen. The color that you want it to be, that's the color that's going to fill that rectangle or whatever it is that you're drawing. Okay, this right here is the width and then the height. So because we're making it a 20 by 20, then that was easy to put in. Now this part is I guess the more challenging part. Okay, so for I in this, if we iterate, one thing how I'm going to explain this. If we iterate through this piece, okay, that means that we're looking at this element. Okay, right? So I is going to be like this element in there. Now, I of 0 means I of 0 means that when I go through this, I can actually be specific and look at this variable or look at this one. Okay, so I of 0 means the first element within this, which would be 100, and then I of 1, because remember all lists start with the 0th element, not the first element. It starts at 0, right? And this would be 200. So it's like you're going through a list, and then from that list, you're being very specific about going through another list, and this list will contain 2 elements, 0 and 1. Okay, and so that's why when I had 0, 1, this is essentially printing out your x, okay, which is the 100, and then it's printing out the y, which is the 200, and that's in the first portion of what we're drawing, right? That's this first portion, and then I'll go on to the next one, right? It'll come back around, and then I would be this one, and then it'll print I of 0, 110, 200. So at those 2 coordinates, print a rectangle, and it's gonna follow through, and it looks like the snake is moving consistently. And that's pretty much all there is to that. So I'm going to cut this video a little short today for this one, and I think the next thing we should probably do is, well, we can probably do uploading images, and I think that would be good. Oh, you know what we need to do? We need to have a introduction, and we need to have like an intro screen, and then we need to have a game over screen. So we'll do that first, and then we can do the images, because the images is usually like the last thing that I'll probably do. Okay, great.